Hello everyone, welcome back to Glitz and Glitter. I have two simple projects today. That's why I'm doing two, because they're both really simple, I think. This one I've done a couple times. I made this one a couple times actually for my mom, and she uses it at her sink. So she's got one of the pedestal faucets where you turn it on and off from the side, and she didn't like always having to clean around the faucet because your hands are wet when you're done washing them to turn it off. So this catches her water from her hands, and then she'll clean this out just to keep her counter nice and neat. Well, her friend Helen, she gave her friend Helen one of the ones, and they thought for some reason, and my mom doesn't know why, theirs is always full of water. So they said this would be great if it had a hole in it where it would drain. So I'm going to make one with a hole in it for them. And at first when she said that, I was going to use these. Where are they? This is what first popped in my head, is the hole makers from Little Windows, because these things have the 8mm. But then when I grabbed the mold, I'm like, that's not gonna work because I have to put the hole maker right here. So I'm going to just drill them a hole right out the side when it's done so they can have one. Plus, I want it to match their kitchen since they got the blue one from my mom, and their kitchen is in a lot of whites, and I'm going to marble this because their counter is like white marble with a little bit of black running through it. So I'm going to make one to match their house, and I'm going to get them a hole drilled in it. So that one's pretty simple. This one just came in the Happy Mail from Barbara, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is a great test piece for that washi tape. Remember this one I just bought? Somebody said it looked like mountains in the back, which it does. It looks like mountains and waves, so it could be both, but I bought it because it looked like sea waves in here. And I cut it to fit. I want to see if we can get this to look, oh, I got to make sure I put it in upside down. So I cut it to fit in here, and we're going to see what it looks like. And it's like perfectly exactly cut there. I'm going to just make clear resin and see what this looks like. I'm actually going to put that seam on one of the ends so it's not on the side, because most people won't be looking at the ends. So we're going to do it like that, and we're just going to put it in clear resin, and it's really just a test piece, but who knows, it might come out really good. So this is just going to get clear, and I probably am going to tape this just because I see that already going to give me a problem coming apart. So we will tape these together, and they both take a little less than 6 ounces, so I'm just going to mix up 6 ounces, get it all ready, and we'll start. It's mixed and split 3 and 3, so, I'm not going to do the black. So to do my white marbling, I'm going to get it all white first, and then we'll drip in the Castin Craft black pigment when we're ready to pour it, but not yet. I want it mostly white with a hint of black streaks. That's my goal. Hopefully I will achieve it. Okay, that's good. The other one is clear, so this is pretty simple to mix these. I'm just going to run them through the vacuum chamber. That looks good. Let's run them through the vacuum chamber and get the bubbles out. A lot of times when I'm vacuum chambering or mixing things, something pops in my head and changes my mind. Oh, by the way, did you see the bottom of my vacuum chamber? I took the viewer's advice and I put a silicone cake pan at the bottom. So if it does go over when I'm not paying attention, it's going to be so much easier to clean up. I'm just gonna wipe that down. I changed my mind on this one. I'm only going to pour it to the top of this lip, because I found a really pretty blue for the bottom, sky blue. I will link everything I'm using below because it goes nicely with this. And I thought, why have a clear one when you can make it blue? We're going to start with this one though first because it's a little simpler and I'm not going to get my hands messy on this one. So here, I'm just going to shake my Castin Craft pretty good. Whoops. And we're going to spritz this with alcohol. After I get this mixed up, I'm just going to drip like I don't know. Let's start with one drip in there. I don't want a ton of black. Just kind of stir it around. I hope that's enough black. Maybe I better do 2. I don't know. It's gonna turn gray if I don't. We're gonna do, oh, that was way more than I wanted. Shoot. Well, it is what it is now. All right, I'm just gonna spray that, give this a stir, and pour it in. It's not too bad, actually. I didn't want a ton and I didn't get a ton, so that's good. We're just gonna fill this one up and let it cure. That's it for this one, easy peasy. That one's domed. I have a little bit left. I have this one that's been sitting here waiting for a backing. I think that would be cute if I marbled it. What do you think? Let me just spray this one, get all those bubbles out. And, oh, that's not a lip to go around. Never mind. I was gonna say go around your lip, but let me move this one out of the way. We're gonna marble the back of this little paw print. Another drop of black. I don't know if I have enough. Hopefully I do. Spray that. Yeah, there's not a ton of black coming through, so. Might have enough if I scrape and get some black on these edges. Hopefully you'll see it on the other side. I don't know that you will though. That was the perfect amount. If not, white will be fine for this one as well since the pads are already black. And you do have to top coat this one because it's a garbage mold. It came crappy, so I always top coat it with UV resin and it shines it right back up. So I continue to use it even though I don't like the mold. It's cute when it's finished. All right, so let me move this one out of the way. And with the extras, this one came from Barbara as well, and I'm dying to see what it looks like because it's got like a water ripple in there. I think it's gonna be really pretty. So I'll have to add a color to it. This one, I think what I'm going to do, my idea is to, of course, spray it with alcohol, but I want to get it wet with resin before I pour the resin in, if that makes sense. So let me spray that. I'm just going to dip my hands in here and get this all wet with resin. I did tape that seam. And then pour quickly, but not over that edge. And then we're going to place this in, hopefully with no bubbles forming. I'm gonna push it all the way down. And I think that is enough. Yep, that's plenty in there, a little more than I wanted. So there's a little layer of clear where I don't want it, but you won't see it through the blue. Of course, my hands are a wreck. There's barely anything covering that, so that should be good. I'm just worried about bubbles forming around that edge. So I've got about 1.5 ounces left. I need to change my gloves and come up with a color for that little mold. I got 2 molds out. I got the pendant one and my snowman because I think I'm going to use this snowman inside of the snow globe that I'm going to make. So I'm just going to pour a little bit. I don't know how much that pendant takes, so I'm going to do the least amount possible. And I got out sapphire blue alcohol ink. 2 drips of that should be way more than enough. I really didn't want to. I'm going to try to stir this without getting any bubbles in it. All right, let me move this, move that. We're just going to pour this in there. And that is good. Barely anything left in there. And for the little snowman, let me move this. I want crystally. I'm just going to put a white mica in there. Crystally white mica. Crushed crystal will do. This one is no longer available, but you can use crushed crystal. So I will link the crushed crystal for you. And I'm going to try to stir gently. And that looks good. I am going to spray a tiny bit of alcohol in there because I can't remember what he looks like in that face. So this means I need to do my snow globe next. Oh, look at that. Almost the perfect amount. I just have a little dab of each color. All right, see you on demold. I got it coated and cured so we can undo them both at the same time. So I'll show you the extras first. This was extra from this back coat. So I used a little tiny rubber ducky mold that I just bought at Hobby Lobby and put a magnet on the back, colored them in with some acrylic paint pens. And that one's done. And then this was the leftover from the crystal white from the snowman. And I mixed it with the rest of the blue from the pendant. So he got a little bit of shine to him. And then this was the crystal white and the blue and a pendant I top coated with UV resin. Put a pinch veil on. And then this one was left over from this one, and I just put some of my rainbow shimmer on the top coat so it has a really pretty shimmery, I don't know if I can get you to see it, but it's there. I could see it. And here's the paw print. Came out really good. Actually, the marbling is really good. And then there was glitter in my mold. When I unmolded it, there were a few random pieces of glitter in my black. So I took my rainbow shimmer, which is why I mixed up the rainbow shimmer, so I put it on there. And I just put it on the black just so I can salvage this whole thing just for a couple random pieces of glitter. So that one's good. Here is the sapphire blue pendant. What do you think? I think it's beautiful. Here's over white. It came out gorgeous, not one bubble. So I put E6000 and a flat back bail on. So that will make a really pretty pendant. So I unmolded that quickly and put this one in it so I could cure that one. So that's what it looks like with mica powder. Not too shabby, huh? And of course the bail. Here here's the Santa. So a few things went through my mind while I was finishing him. So I finished him with some pens, and as I did that, not only one, I didn't like the red pen, because it was showing micro bubbles, because this was poured last and it was really thick, so there's micro bubbles in here. Then I realized if I put this in my snow globe mold, I'm wondering if all that pen was going to come off. So I went over it. I put some of my red wine glitter into UV resin, and I went over all the red parts with UV resin and glitter and cured all that. And then I didn't want to cover up the face, so I took clear UV resin and went over the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the buttons. So there is resin covering all that. So when I do put him in the glycerin water mixture, hopefully he won't bleed everywhere. It would look like, oh, it would be a terrible scene. So we're going to save him for another day. Let's unmold this one and see what we have. Oh, that's pretty good. Just a small amount of black, just like I wanted. And what I'm going to do tomorrow, not tonight, not for the pictures, but I definitely will before I give it to Helen, is drill her some holes right down here, so it will drain out over her sink. But the marbling came out pretty good. The back is really pretty. The back is always better than the front, but it's still shiny and it's white and it's black. I think it's going to go perfect in her beautiful new kitchen. All right, let's set that aside. And this is the one I've been wondering about. Did it work or did it not work? Now, what I did notice off camera, I had put the tape in upside down. So I quick pulled it out and then turned it around and put it back in the right way. Otherwise, it would have been completely upside down. Oh, we got some bubbles. I didn't think I did, but I think that's on, no, I think it is on there. So if I do this again, it's not that bad. There's some bubbles on this side. I think what I did wrong, I mean, it's not horrible. I wonder if I can cover that. What I did, so the washi tape was going around the outside of the mold. Next time, I'm going to make sure it stays right in the center of this cavity, or whatever cavity, if I do this again. Don't let it touch one side or the other. Measure it to go right in the center so it's completely submerged in your resin. But it's not that bad. Now, the washi tape was foggy at the top. It was like glittery. But I don't like those bubbles on that side. But at least, it's really cute though. Is that a piece of glitter? Okay, that'll come off. What do you think? It's not horrible, but I could feel them. So I'm wondering if there's a way to cover that up. I don't know if I can cover that up. This one, it's just kind of out in the open. It's not even on the wave, so I'm not sure what I can do about that. Give me some suggestions on how I can fix that, or what I can cover that with. I don't know offhand. And I want to get you this video out anyway. Yeah, leave me a comment. What can I cover these bubbles with? Because these are not mountains, they're waves. I was thinking maybe like UV resin snow-capped, but they're not. They're supposed to be waves. All right, well, I will think about this and maybe finish it. If you guys give me a good suggestion, I will finish it with you. Other than that, I will get you some pictures. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys all have a blessed day. Bye, everyone.